Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today is lecture 4 about testing of hypothesis part 2. It means that in lecture 3rd we go through the concepts behind testing of hypothesis. Now we will see according to the syllabus which are the tests or test statistic used for testing our hypothesis. So in your syllabus are Z test, T test and ANOVA test. So in the lecture number 4 testing of hypothesis part 2 we go through the concepts behind the Z test, T test and ANOVA test, and in lecture number 5, 6 or 7 we will use these tests to test our hypothesis. Before starting the lecture 4 about the different tests, Z test, T test and ANOVA test, I want to remind you the concept behind these tests about the region of acceptance or rejection, which you go through in your statistic first course, Introduction to Statistics. After using the standard deviation or Chebyshev inequality, in which mean plus minus 1 standard deviation encompasses 68% of the observation, and mean plus minus 2 standard deviation encompasses 95% of the observations. So 95% of the observation means the level of confidence is 95% and your level of significance is 5%, and mean plus minus 3 standard deviation encompasses 99.7% of observations. So your level of confidence over here is 99% and level of significance is 1%. So this idea is used behind our level of confidence and level of significance. Revising the previous lecture concepts, statistical hypotheses, they are hypotheses that are stated in such a way that they may be evaluated by appropriate statistical techniques. There are two types of hypothesis, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is the hypothesis which is used for possible rejection. So it is represented by H naught. So if your mu is equal to 70 or mu1 is equal to mu2, then alternative hypothesis other than the null hypothesis will be mu1 is not equal to mu2, mu1 is greater than mu2 or mu1 is less than mu2, and alternative hypothesis is represented by H1 or HA. And in testing hypothesis we commit two type of errors, type 1 error or type 2 error. In type 1 error we accept a null hypothesis when it is false, and in type 2 error we reject a null hypothesis when it is true or when it is okay. So type 1 error is represented by alpha, false positive, and type 2 error is represented by beta, false negative. Then in testing hypothesis we need level of significance, the probability of committing type 1 error denoted by alpha. It means 5% means 0.05% means risk of making wrong decision only is 5 out of 100 cases, while 95% confident. Then is the power of the test. It is the probability of committing type 2 error denoted by beta, and 1 minus beta is power of the test. Power is probability of rejecting H naught when H naught is false, and H naught is our null hypothesis, or we can say it a correct decision. And also the p-value defined as the smallest value of the alpha for which the null hypothesis can be rejected. If the p-value is less than alpha, we reject the null hypothesis, and if the p-value is greater than alpha, we do not reject the. To make more clear how we construct the null hypothesis or how we state the null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis, there is an example. Suppose we wanted to determine whether a coin was fair and balanced. So a null hypothesis might be that half the flips would result in heads and half in tails. So if the coin is fair, So there is no hindrance between getting heads and tails. So half the flips will be coins and half the flips will be tail, according to the theory of probability. Probability of success is 1/2 and probability of failure is 1/2. The alternative hypothesis might be that the number of heads and tails would be very different. Symbolically, these hypotheses would be expressed as H naught P is equal to 0.5 and alternative hypothesis HA P is not equal to 0.5. So you see where the alternative hypothesis is different or opposite to the null hypothesis. Suppose we flipped the coin 50 times, resulting in 40 heads and 10 tails. Given this result, we would be inclined to reject the null hypothesis. We would conclude, based on the evidence, that the coin was probably not fair and balanced. Here is the region of acceptance. Critical values fall on the right side, and test statistic value, if it falls inside the critical value, then our hypothesis is rejected, or if it lies on the right side of the critical value, then our hypothesis will be accepted. If p value is less than, then alpha risk reject H naught and accept HA, and if p value is greater than alpha risk, fall to reject the null H naught, fail to reject the null. More in detail, if you see with the help of the diagrams, in the first diagram, one tail critical region is P is less than or equal to 0.05. In the second diagram, P is on the both tails, P is less than 0.025 and P is less than 0.025 on both tails. Now 0.5 is divided into two parts, so two-tailed critical region, and in the last it is on the right side, so P is less than or equal to 0.05, it is representing one tail. So it means if your critical region lies on the one side of your test or of your bell-shaped diagram, then it is called one-tail test, and if it lies on the both sides, then it is called two-tail critical region. So if we see it technically, the critical region for one-tail test mean rejection is in one or other tail of distribution, just like Englishmen are taller than Indian men, and in two-tail tests rejection is split between two sides or tails of distribution, like Englishmen are taller than Indian and Pakistanis. Now here we are on the main point of testing the hypothesis. For selecting the test statistic, which is the in testing procedure is on number 3, because first in testing procedure, first step is to state the null and alternative hypothesis, then we have to state the level of significance. It means we have to define the critical region or acceptance region, and then we have to decide the test statistic. Test statistic is based on is decided with the help of sample size. If the sample size is large, then the distribution will be normal, population will be well defined, its parameters are known, and then we used to select the Z test or T test for the testing procedure. And if the sample size is small, how much small? Less than or equal to 30. Then we will use the T test, because when sample size is small, the distribution will be approximately normal, or maybe the population is not well defined, its parameters are unknown, its population variance is unknown. Then we have to estimate the variances or standard deviations from the samples, and they are called estimated variances. And in case of estimated variances, or when the parameters are not well defined, population is approximately normal, sample size is small, and we used to use the T test. So that's why in testing procedure sample size is important. So concept is large sample means the sample size more than 30, and small sample means the sample size less than or equal to 30. Many statistical tests based upon the assumption that the data are sampled from Gaussian distribution procedure for testing hypothesis about parameters in a population described by a specified distributional form. Normal distribution are called parametric test, and when the sample sizes are large, more than 30, distributions are normal and they are called parametric tests. So for our testing procedures in our syllabus is only the parametric test. So for the large sample test, you have to study z-test. For small sample tests, you have to study t-test. T-test are of two types, independent or unpaired t-test and paired t-test. We go through only one type of t-test. And next is for small samples, we have ANOVA, analysis of variance, and we have one-way ANOVA and two-way ANOVA, and in your syllabus is only one-way ANOVA. So today, starting our testing procedure with z-test or z-test. It is used for testing the mean of a population versus a standard or comparing the means of two populations with large sample size, more than 30 samples, whether you know the population standard deviation or not. So z-test, in which we have to test the mean of the population. Mean of the population means when population, only one population, and for the two populations. So we test that whether our mean, population mean mu is equal to the sample mean or not. That our estimated sample mean is representing the population mean or population parameter or not. And z-test is also for the proportions. It is also used for testing the proportion of characteristics versus a standard proportion, or comparing the proportions of two populations, for example, comparing the average engineering salaries of men versus women, or comparing the friction defectives from two production lines. We use t-test or the properties of t-distribution or t-test are: it has mean 0, it has variance greater than 1, it is a bell-shaped symmetrical distribution about mean, or its assumptions for t-test are: sample must be random, observations are independent, standard deviation is non-known, population, a normal distribution of population are approximately normal, sample size is small, and the population is unknown. Population standard deviation is unknown, so we use the estimated standard deviation. Uses of t-test are: the mean of the sample, to test the mean of the sample, to see the difference between means, or to compare two samples, to compare the correlation, to test the correlation coefficient. Or the types of t-test are paired t-test or unpaired t-test. Paired t-test is in your syllabus, and this test consists of a sample of matched pairs of similar units or one group of units that has been tested twice, a repeated Mayer t-test. Example, where subjects are tested prior to a treatment, say for high blood pressure, and the same subjects are tested again after treatment with a blood pressure lowering medication. Last test is analysis of variance, ANOVA. It is a very important test and mostly used. It means analysis of variance or ANOVA is a collection of statistical models used to analyze the difference between group means and their associated procedures, such as variation among and between groups, compares multiple groups at one time, and it is developed by R.A. Fisher. There are two types of ANOVA, one-way ANOVA and two-way ANOVA, and we go through only one-way ANOVA in this. In one-way ANOVA or one-way ANOVA compares three or more unmatched groups when data are categorized in one way. Example is: compare control group with 3 different doses of aspirin in rats, effects of supplementation of vitamin C in each subject before, during and after the treatment. Seeing the summary of today's lecture, we summarized and have seen the parametric test. applied for different types of data in testing of hypothesis. First is comparison of two paired groups. We use paired t-test. Comparison of two unpaired groups, we use unpaired t-test. Comparison of three or more matched groups, we use two-way ANOVA, and comparison of three or more matched groups, we use one-way ANOVA, and correlation between two variables, we use Pearson correlation test. This was all about your today's lecture. Please go through your book to see the exercises and the solved examples. Inshallah, in the next lecture we will go through the examples and the exercise of your books chapter. Thank you.